Disclaimer, due to the lack of existence of a 3DS capture card, the fact that I don't have a Wii capture card and I don't have a camera that's good at filming in the dark, I'm just stealing footage from YouTube. However, if you notice this footage is yours, I got it from videos that didn't have ads on them and I'm not making any money with this video in the first place, so please don't sue me. Ever since Super Mario Kart was released on the SNES in 1992, there have been a slew of Mario Kart games for various Nintendo platforms, and I've lately been playing the most recent Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS. In all honesty, I get more frustration out of it than I do fun. That being said, let's go through the reasons why Mario Kart 7 sucks. I'm not sure if Nintendo is just running out of ideas, if I'm getting older so everything is starting to feel more and more mundane, or if I was spoiled by the sheer awesomeness that was Mario Kart Wii. But Mario Kart 7 just doesn't hold water with me. It does have its good points, but there are just so many letdowns and annoyances that I can't feasibly say that it's overall fun. First on my list of degrading remarks towards the game is a bit of an obvious one. 17 characters, and they're not even the fun ones. Sure, you have the original 8, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Koopa Troopa, Toad, DK, and Bowser, as well as the expected me, but most of the others just seem to be thrown in because Nintendo couldn't think of anybody else to use. Shy Guy, Daisy, Wario, and Rosalina were interesting and kinda cool, but Metal Mario, Lucky 2 Wiggler, and Honey Queen? Why would I ever want to play as the glorified fuzzy insect that Mario had to molest in all of 2 stages on a total of 2 games on a treasure hunt to find little yellow things? Anyway, let's go back to the sheer lack of characters, rather than how stupid they are. Mario Kart Wii had a whopping 25 characters, which was awesome, and I think I would have loved to have that many again. But seeing that the 3DS is a handhold, I'm not surprised that there aren't that many. The original Mario Kart on the DS had a total of 12, and that's okay because the DS didn't have a lot of processing power or room for memory in those tiny cartridges. But only one of those 12 didn't really fit in. And I liked him all the same. Also, out of Double Dash's 20 total characters, it had 16 to start off with, and that one was on the GameCube. A game released in 2003 started with only one less character than Mario Kart 7 ended with. Also, even after unlocking all the characters on that game, they were still all awesome. Perhaps with the exception of Toadette and Birdo. Birdo. Now that I've covered the characters, let me talk about the carts, wheels, and gliders, and how to unlock them. There's a nice assortment of all 3, but then you realize that out of the 7 available gliders, there are only 3 stat spreads, only one of which is actually good. And you have one of the gliders with the stat spread unlocked from the beginning of the game, so there's really no reason to have all the different gliders in the first place, because all you really need is the first one. Oh, and in case you don't believe me, go look on GameFAQs. The stats are all there. Now that we have that little annoyance out of the way, let's look at the big one. In previous Mario Kart games, you unlock new carts and characters by completing various challenges, such as getting a star ranking in this cup or getting first in that cup, but they've switched it up for this one. They've kept the same unlocking scheme for the characters, but they've introduced a hugely annoying component for the carts, wheels, and gliders. MK7 has the quite clever inclusion of getting coins in races, and they so conveniently stack up after each race so that you have a running total. When this total hits a given number, you unlock a random item. Wait. Did you say a random item? Yes, that's right, people. You unlock a random item. This means that there's absolutely no sense of progress as you unlock stuff through the game. You just reached 1,000 coins? Let me give you tires that are worse than the ones you had at the beginning of the game. You just got to 4,000 coins. Wow, let me give you a glider with a stat spread you'll never use. Oh, and it's not really a glider, it's just something you can stick in your drink. With this method of unlocking things, you just lose all sense of enjoyment or feeling of accomplishment, and you just sit there stockpiling, waiting for the next useless item to be made ready for you. I think that this entire thing could have been remedied by adding a shop where you spend your coins on the items that you want, and each item would have a set price according to its stats. Yes, some things would be more expensive than others, but at least you could buy the things you wanted. What it's actually like in the game is like one of those weird-looking vending machines that dispense little plastic containers with random prizes in them. You put in 50 cents hoping to get the toy that you want, and instead you get something random that you wouldn't even think of entertaining yourself with in a million years. Oh, and don't even get me started about the last cart that you can unlock at 20,000 coins. Yeah, 20,000 coins. Since you can only get a maximum of 10 coins per race, that means a minimum of 2,000 races through courses you'll get bored of really, really fast. The courses getting boring is actually conveniently my next point. The courses are one aspect of this game that it seems like Nintendo really tried to be innovative with. Unfortunately, Nintendo, for the most part, failed. I won't go into any of the specifics about any one given course because we all have our preferences, where some people love a given track and other people completely despise it. But I do have a few big points to make. All in all, the courses felt very original, but it was almost as if the developers hadn't bothered to preview them to people who actually liked having fun for prolonged periods of time. Usually Mario Kart games have courses that you'll want to play over and over again for hours on end, examples of which being Wario's Gold Mine, Delfino Square, or DK Mountain. But Mario Kart 7 just has Woohoo Loop, and Cheep Cheep Lagoon, and Rosalina's Ice World. I actually found myself playing the Retro Cups much more often than the MK7 Cups. Something else that also turned me off about the new courses is the fact that 3 of them don't even have laps. It's all just one big loop. Yes, the upside is that you don't see any of the same piece of track more than once, so that's interesting. But there are big problems with this. One of which is that there's no reason to leave banana traps anymore because nobody's going to pass through that same part of the course again. Another really annoying thing is that 2 out of the 3 tracks with sections instead of laps just seem to be a copy and paste from Wii Sports Resort. It's almost like one day at Nintendo there was a meeting between course designers and somebody was like, "Hey, let's try to rip off our own game and make more money." To which the entire room agreed, and someone had the bright idea of doing it twice. Yes, I get that the Mii is a playable character, and it's kinda cool to have a stage for the Miis, but really, that point becomes moot when you realize that neither of the Woohoo stages are clever or fun to begin with. This is not to say that MK7 didn't have new and enjoyable courses. In fact, it did. But this brings me to my last and biggest complaint. Where the heck did Versus Mode go? Let's just say you wanted to play one of those few good Mario Kart 7 courses and not play the ones you don't like. What's that? You can't? Oh, you want free choice of courses? Well, that's too bad. Here are predetermined races that you have to do 4 at a time. Oh, and we've conveniently put the good ones with the bad ones in every single cup. Would it really have been that difficult just to put another button in there? That's all I ask, just a first button, right there, just right there. That would have been perfect. In fact, it would have been good enough for me not to have to do this whole review in the first place. I would have been fine with Mario Kart 7 if there was a versus mode. But no, we're left to tromp through the muddy annoyances of courses so that we can play the ones we actually really want to play. Oh, and you know that pesky option near the settings menu of Create Grand Prix got me so excited the first time I saw it. I was all bummed out that there was no versus mode, and then I found that button with sheer excitement that this game might not be as stupid as I thought it was. However, it was much to my dismay that this button was a complete lie because some genius programmer decided that you can't play your own Grand Prix. How stupid is that? Pretty freaking stupid. However, you might be wondering what the purpose of this button actually is. The sad thing is that it's really so mundane that it's quite depressing. Your friends that you trade info with via Street Pass, provided they're also playing MK7, which is a bit of a stretch, can play your Grand Prix and you get to play their Grand Prix. The downside is that you get the knowledge that someone is playing your favorite courses while you're playing their horrible choices of favorite courses. Also, sure, you might make the point that you always do versus mode online, but there's a whole lot of waiting time for that, and you don't have total control of what you're playing at any given moment anyways. This'll sound like I'm being paranoid, but every time I went online it just seemed like other people were choosing courses that I didn't like just to spite me. And the whole point behind versus mode is that you have total control over how you set up your races. It's even worse in battle mode because you're set up in a series of 4 battles, and there are only 6 courses to choose from. Either let me do 6 battles so I can do every course in a set, or give me 8 courses that I can choose from so I can choose different ones 2 sets of 4 battles in a row. It's kind of like the hot dog and hot dog bun problem, where you buy hot dogs in packs of 10 and you buy hot dog buns in packs of 8. It no makey sensey, I say. Other than these huge complaints, there are actually lots of other little small annoyances, such as how the blue shell knocks you sideways so you eventually end up falling off, or the lack of control underwater, or that the camera programming in this game gets confused every time you push up against a wall. All of which seem like little quirks that have been added to this game that all call themselves features, when in all reality they're just bugs in disguise. All this being said, Mario Kart 7 is still a pretty fun game, and if you feel like wasting lots of your time of your life, go ahead and pick it up. But if you really want to just sit down and play a good racing game with recognizable characters, hook up your Wii and play Mario Kart on that. I suppose it makes sense in a sort of twisted way that this one's bad because we all know that they're going to make a Mario Kart for the Wii U, and when they do, they have the lower expectations for Mario Kart 7 to surpass. instead of the really high ones from Mario Kart Wii. Also, we all know that they're going to name it something appropriate and predictable like Mario Kart U, but let's hope they don't keep with the name having something to do with the game, and instead of having the Lucky 7 item for Mario Kart 7, make the whole Mario Kart U just a whole bunch of freaking U-turns. Those are all my reasons why Mario Kart 7 sucks. If you have any other reasons why you don't like the game, or if you completely disagree with me and you think this is the best Mario Kart game yet, let me know in the comments. We may not agree, but that is what the internet is for. In any case, thanks for watching.